In the last two videos in this series, we defined capitalism and socialism. But which one is better? Now is the time to find out. Capitalism versus socialism. Which is better? Welcome to Into the Desert, exploring the wilderness of ideas. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to support our channel and our mission of encouraging discussion, not division, please join us on Patreon. The link is in the description. So which is better? Capitalism with its choice and competition, or socialism with its planning? At first blush, socialism seems to have an edge. After all, capitalism is wasteful and leads to inequality. In the competition of the marketplace, there will be winners and losers, leading to waste when producers make products that don't sell as intended. Isn't a plan always better than chaos? Add to this the money that goes to profit, which could instead be used for the noble purpose. Yet, such thinking is based on assumptions and some misconceptions. The assumption is that any plan developed by the government will be better than capitalism's chaos. Yet, economic planning is inherently tricky. The larger the enterprise, the more difficult the plan. It can be difficult to accurately plan a small business. The larger the business, the more factors to consider, and the more difficult it is to plan. This difficulty is seen in the fact that most businesses fail. Even large corporations seldom remain dominant and frequently change from decade to decade. Thus, in the 1950s and 60s, Sears was a dominant retailer. Today, it has almost disappeared. Planning a business is difficult. Yet, planning a national economy is, by definition, more difficult than planning for even the largest corporation. In fact, the task is so enormous that serious questions exist as to whether it is even possible. This brings us to the misconceptions. The chaos of the market is not a single entity, and thus not a direct comparison to the government plan. Instead, there are many individual businesses in many different parts of the economy, each with its own plan. Some of these plans will fail, but many others will succeed. With a government plan, you have a tough, if not impossible, task, and have one chance to get it right. Given the massive number of plans, the chaos of the market is virtually guaranteed to do far better than any government plan. Another misconception is that profit is seen as waste. It is not. Instead, it is a self-correcting mechanism. Plans that work will reward the planners with money. Plans that fail will lose money. There is no similar self-correcting mechanism with a government plan. In fact, the incentives are often reversed. Government plans that fail are frequently justified by claims that insufficient money was spent. Thus, failure is rewarded with additional funding. Even as a theory, government planning has serious problems. Planning is a wasted effort unless the plan is followed. So government plans require the government to enforce them. The core of socialism is control. This is why, in its extreme forms, socialism becomes totalitarianism. For to plan everything means to control everything. On the other hand, capitalism is based on choice and competition, and thus requires persuasion. As much as a business owner may wish otherwise, effective competition requires the owner to persuade customers to purchase what the owner is selling. This, in turn, forces business owners to consider potential customers' wants, needs, and desires. Persuasion is better than force. Finally, Adam Smith saw that capitalism was not a one-size-fits-all approach. Capitalism is an imperfect solution to a complex problem. However, in general, the more choices and competition you have, the better things become. This is not the case with socialism. It does claim to be a one-size-fits-all approach. Yet, the more control you have, the closer you move to totalitarianism. So, at least in theory, capitalism is superior to socialism. This is borne out in practice. Over the last 200 years, capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty and provided a better standard of living than any other economic system in history. Since 1970, because of the spread of capitalism, the number of people living on $1 a day has been cut by 80%. Places where poverty remains tend to be places where governments don't have the legal infrastructure to permit capitalism. While it is true that the democratic socialism of much of Europe is acceptable, it is also true that it does not perform as well as more capitalistic countries like the United States. Many are doing as well as they are because they have backed away from their more socialist past and towards a more capitalist approach. The more extreme socialist governments have a long history of failure. Thus, as a general rule, the more capitalist, the better a nation is. The more socialist, the worse off they are. This does not mean socialism is always a wrong choice. Still, it must be recognized that socialism has a cost, and its claims that it is more efficient than capitalism are untrue. Over the last 200 years, capitalism, defined as choice and competition, has increased life expectancy, ended famine in industrialized countries, vastly reduced poverty, created the technologies we take for granted, reduced the work week to about 40 hours, created an entire leisure industry, and generally brought about a better quality of life. This record is far better than socialism's long list of failures. And the socialists' claim that next time they will do better rings hollow. So what do you think? Do you disagree? Do you think socialism is better? Is it possible to create an effective plan for an economy? Tell us why down in the comments. We do read your comments and often post replies. If you made it this far in the video, consider watching one of our other videos and supporting our channel on Patreon. Thank you for watching Into the Desert, exploring the wilderness of ideas.